Hi, today's video is what is password complexity. I've done some other videos about passwords and about brute force attacks and about dictionary attacks, and I'll put them in the comments below so you can watch those. What password complexity is an attempt to measure how good a password is, basically. How unlikely it is to get broken. It's related to entropy, but isn't quite the same thing. It's part of it. But the idea is that rather than just having a simple password, you can make it more complex. There's a number of ways you can increase the complexity of a password. I mean, the first one is you can make it longer. So, you know, the password eat is more secure a little bit than the password at, for instance, as the password anti-disestablishmentarianism, one of the longest words in the English language, is even a lot more secure than eat. But even that may not be particularly helpful against a dictionary attack, for instance. So one of the things that you can do when you're creating a system and asking people to create logins with passwords is to say your password needs to have a certain amount of complexity. And the typical ways of doing that are saying, firstly, it needs to be longer than a certain length. Another one would be to say it's not one of a set of standard words, which would be in a dictionary attack. Another one would be to add letters which are capitalized and lowercase, so you have a mix of capitalized and lowercase, upper and lowercase letters. Add some numbers, add some special characters like, you know, plus, minus, exclamation mark, underscore, those sorts of things. And these are all ways of increasing the complexity of a password and making it more and more difficult to crack. The problem is that humans aren't very good at remembering passwords, and so making a password very complex makes it much more difficult to remember. And what people do then is they write down their passwords, which means that if you have physical access to somewhere where they're written down, well, the password isn't very useful, is it? The classic and the worst place ever to write a password down is on the bottom of your keyboard. You'll see I don't have any on the bottom of my keyboard. Very careful not to do that. Or even worse, I suppose, on your monitor screen where everyone can see it. So password complexity isn't the only answer. And one of the other answers is to think about password managers. I'll record another video on that in the future, but also to consider multi-factor authentication, particularly time-based multi-factor authentication. So these are all ways of trying to improve the security of the login authentication mechanisms that we use, but it's important to understand that password complexity is not a simple measure, and it's not always as effective as you'd like. It can have unintended consequences. So I hope that's useful. If you've got questions about this or any other topic to do with cybersecurity, well, first of all, please subscribe to the channel. That's always great. But please ask any questions in the comments, and I'll do what I can to answer your questions and help. Thanks. Bye.